Okay, good morning or afternoon or whenever you're watching this. Thank you for joining my YouTube channel, Warming Up with Sincerely Sarah. I am Sarah Ford, Superstar Director of Warming Up with the Believers. Today, I have a very special guest, Rhianna Franco. And Franco, we just talked about this, and I told her my brain is mush right now. So I'm super excited to have her. We were in boot camp together, and that was like, I didn't even know, like almost what, 4 years ago. And then we promoted near the same time to superstar director. And I just love her. She's wonderful. She's just fabulous. So anyways, welcome. Thank you for joining and allowing me to interview you.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
So I want you to know before we start talking about the business and the opportunities that the income disclosure will be posted in the description of the video so that you're covered, so that you feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about. So basically, I want to know what made you join Scentsy.
Well, I've always been big on fragrance. We used to use candles a lot. And I'm very OCD, like my house has to be like spotless. If anything's out of place, like there can't be any type of stench, like anything like that. So we ended up purchasing or adopting a baby Yorkie a couple months before that. And he was having accidents, like literally everywhere. And we would scrub and we thought everything was fine. Until one day my oldest daughter came in my house and she was like, "Mom, it smells like dog pee in here." And I like lost it. I was like, "No, this can't happen. This is not okay. I'm not going to have a house that smells like dog pee. Like it's not going to be." So I decided that weekend that I had my carpet cleaned. I had professional carpet cleaners come in. And then I told my husband, I'm going to go out and just buy a bunch of plugs, like plugins from Target or whatever. Well, that weekend I ended up doing a pop-up show because I used to do kids t-shirts and stuff like that. I had a pop-up event with my t-shirt shop, and I ended up running into a booth that had Scentsy. And I remember a few years back, one of my friends had a party and I wasn't too into it then. So I didn't really pay attention, but I walked by and I was like, okay, there's fragrance. Let me go see what this lady has. So I walked up to the pop-up and it was Carol Gardner, my sponsor, who passed away in May. I miss her so much. But she had her set up, and as soon as I walked up, she had everything out, and she was like, "Come and smell, like, it's so much fun," and her energy just attracted me, just that first and foremost. But then it drew me in because of the designs of the warmers, and I was like, oh, I was gonna just simply get a little plug-in from the competitors now, so I was gonna do that, but I was like, this is so much cuter. So I ended up buying the Perfect Scentsy system. I got too many warmers, and I was going to get one, and she upsold me. But so I got the Perfect Scentsy system, too many warmers. It was like the Hope and the Tea Rose, I believe, and 6 bars. And then from there, I plugged it in when I got home, and I was literally buying like from her every week, every 2 weeks. "Hi, Carol. Hey, can I get some more bars? Hey." And like, I was obsessed. I'd be like, we put one in every room. We had 4 bedrooms. So it was like stocking up, buying. And my husband was like, "Rhianna, don't they have some type of incentive for you to join and you'll get a discount?" And I was like, "I don't know." So I asked Carol, I messaged her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you could join and and I was in July. At the end of July, I believe they were in Kansas City at a SFR. I think it was Kansas City. And I told her, "Hey, I think I want to join." And she goes, "Wait till August 1st. Wait till August 1st." And I'm like, why is this lady telling me to wait till August 1st? Like, I just want to join. Like, what? And she didn't explain it to me because they were out, and she was just excited. And she's like, "Wait till August 1st." So I said, okay. So August 1st, I called her in the morning and said, "Hey, how do I join?" So she sent me the link to join. And I remember that month was the hardest month financially for me. I can't remember why, like why we were so tight that month, but we were. And I ended up using the last $100 in my bank account to join. And supposed to be saving money, right? But I'm spending money buying the kit. But it worked out obviously in the end. But yeah, so I joined August 1st of 2017, simply because I fell in love with the product.
Yeah. So then we were at boot camp in April.
Yes.
So that means that you promoted to director within like 8 months.
It was 6 months I promoted to director. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you want me to tell you about that?
Yeah, I would. Well, hold on. Before we get that far. So you're married and you had kids, and were you working outside the home?
I was working part-time as a mattress sales associate.
Okay,
That
so
was
you
like
had a little
really
bit of
good money. I'm sorry, what was that?
you had some sales experience.
Yes.
Okay. And okay, so go ahead. Do your thing. Tell me all the things.
Okay, so I joined in August, and Carol came to my house the day I joined, and she sat on the floor with me. I'm a big floor sitter. Like I have couches, I have furniture, but I like to sit on the floor. So she joined me on the floor, and we spent about 2 hours just looking at the fragrances. My sister came over, and my sister was actually my first order. But she was explaining stuff, and then we could do this, and then we could do that. And you know Carol, so you know her energy. And I told her, I said, Carol, I don't want to sell this stuff. I just want it for myself. Please don't invite me to team meetings. Please don't talk to me about recruiting. Please, I don't want any of the business. I just want the discount. Like I want to buy for myself. And she was like, okay. But if you do, and I'm like, I don't want none of that. None of it. Like I completely told every single one of my uplines, which is Carol, Tracy, Kathleen, and Wendy. I don't want it. Nope. And they gave me that space, which is amazing. They still loved on me. They still made sure I was taken care of. But I put it, like I said, everywhere in my house. And we love to host our friends, my husband's softball team. We were just big hosters. So we would always have people over, and our family, our friends, our coworkers, whatever. And they'd be like, oh my God, what is that smell? It smells so amazing. And it's my Scentsy. It's my, I had no intention on selling to anybody. And they were like, well, can I buy that through you? Okay, sure. Whatever. That was like the first week. And then I said, Carol, I need to put orders in. Some of my friends oh God, it's bothering me. Like, oh God, I have to put orders in. So she was like, oh my God, let's do a launch party. I'm like, I don't want to do a launch party. And she was just like, well, let's just set up. I remember setting up. Let me back up once. Okay, so before setting up, I was getting orders galore. Okay, orders, text, phone. Oh my gosh, I started posting pictures of it just because it was pretty to me. I didn't even realize what I was doing at the moment. Mm-hmm. And then I think I had about $1,500 in orders the first week that I joined, simply because we hosted a lot. People were always over my house, and they were just as excited as I was. So then she's like, let's do, and she didn't know how much I had yet in, because I was just collecting them. And then she said, let's do your launch party. So Carol came, and I sent out a text to all my friends. She came, set up her all her warmers, because I didn't have anything. And she said, if we sell anything, you could just reorder for me. And I said, okay, great. Set up. It took us about an hour. My entire living room was set up with warmers and bars and stuff. Nobody showed up. Not one person showed up physically to my launch party. And I was like, oh God, this is so stupid. Like, why did I do this? That's my thought. And then after the launch party, a couple more friends text me later on that weekend. So within a week span, I had $2,300 worth of orders in a week and a half. And I did not expect it. And Carol's like, oh my God, it was unplanned. It was unintentional, just because simply sharing the product with my friends and family, which is amazing. And that, I feel, is a big part of my story and how I talk to my group and my team about, you don't have to have all the parties. You don't have to have all these friends, that come over and sit in your living room. And that's why it worked for me, because I'm a really busy person. And if I would have had a launch party and nobody showed up and I had no other orders outside, I probably wouldn't have been doing it for that purpose after that.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So in Scentsy, we have shooting star and sensational start. So obviously you hit both of those.
Yes.
So did you hit level 3?
Yes.
Okay. When did you start recruiting then? Because you promoted to director, so you obviously had to start adding to your team.
Um, the very first person that joined my team was my mom. And she only joined so that I can hit sensational start level 3. And that's, to be honest, she's like, I'll just join. That's fine. I'm not going to sell it to anybody. I'm just going to buy it. And I'm like, okay, great. Thanks, mom. So she
Mhm.
joined. I hit sensational start level 3. And then shortly after that, my daughter joined, who is now a star director under me. And she was same thing. She's like, I'm not going to really sell. I don't really have a lot of friends, but it's fine. So little by little, her business started growing. And now she's a star director.
Mhm.
She should be hitting superstar director, I think, this year. So
So
anyways, those were my first 2 teamies. I didn't try to recruit to build a team. I just wanted to, I'm like, oh, I'm a goal getter, I guess you can say. So if something's right in front of me and somebody says, oh, well, you can, okay, well, let's do it then.
Mhm.
I didn't do it out of the purpose to build a team. But randomly one day I was sitting there and I get an email. You have a new consultant in your team or downline. And I'm like, what? I didn't. So I open it up and it's this girl, Abby. And she's still on my team now to this day, almost 5 years later. Um, and I seen her information and I called Carol right away. So Carol, I don't want this girl. I don't want a team. Can you take her? You take her. I don't want to. It's just, that's not how it works, Rhianna. I'll show you. I don't want it, Carol. I don't want to do this. No, 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 no. And I tried that whole day to get rid of my team. And we laugh about it to this day. Her and I, Abby and I, and we're just like, she's like, remember when you didn't want me? And I was like, I know, sorry.
Oh.
I know. But she's like, I'll help you. And Carol did help. And, that one person, and the funny thing is she joined my team randomly. We never met before. I didn't know her, but she said she was scrolling through the customer portal. I mean, the website, and you could pick your consultant. And she said she chose my picture out of all of them because I had an LA Dodgers hat on and she's a Giants fan. So she was like, oh, this will be fun to be under some, like kind of rivals. And I
Yeah.
laughed. I'm like, are you serious, Abby? That's why you chose me? And she's like, yeah. So, and then she said, then I read your story and I seen that you're a Christian and I seen that you're married and you have kids. And she's like, and I felt like we would connect. That's why it's important to always have our stories and our
Yeah,
about page
absolutely.
updated.
Yeah. I just updated mine a few days ago just so it was like the dates were current because I hadn't updated it in so long. And I was like, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so I need to go back in and like really, really change it. But like, I was like, oh, I got to get this changed. So that's amazing. So how long? So I guess when did you decide like, okay, fine, I'll try?
What was a turning point for me is I got a call like at maybe 7 p.m. after dinner. I remember I was sitting and my sponsor, Carol, called me and she's like, Rhianna, you are like 700 points away from earning the Mediterranean cruise. I'm like, what? I didn't even know about the cruise. I
Mhm.
was just, whatever, let me just put these orders in, whoever, whatever. I didn't know. So I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, to Italy, France, and Spain. And I sat for a minute and I was like, how coincidental is this? Which it wasn't. My husband and I wanted to go to Italy for a long time because I have Italian blood. My family I have family in Sicily. Like I had never met them yet.
Mhm.
But I told him, I said, I want to go to Italy for a 15-year anniversary. And that year was our 15-year anniversary.
Goodness.
And I was like, are you serious? I can go to Italy? Well, tell me more. So she told me it's all expenses paid. She's like, you already earned it for one. You could earn it for two. I didn't even know I earned it. I
That's
didn't know.
amazing. Yeah.
So I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? And she broke it down for me. And I took a step back and I was like, wait a minute, I did this without even trying. And honestly, that's unrealistic for the most part. Like usually, it's hard work to earn the trip. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But I think when I came in just like an avalanche and points were piling and I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Mhm.
But I ended up earning that trip. And that's where it turned for me. Being on that ship and seeing how Scentsy does trips is amazing. You never want to miss one once you earn it. And from then on, I said, this is reality, because I had worked for other direct sales companies before, and it wasn't successful. My passion wasn't there. It was just product that I would buy randomly and whatever. It didn't seem like a business to me. And it didn't seem like, oh, I can earn that. That's only for the top people. I was brand new when I earned that trip. So it was like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe this can be something, if anything, just for trips. Like, again, my mentality was not in it to build a group of people like I have now. That wasn't my intent. My intent was, oh, I can earn free trips. I like this, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we didn't go because I was nursing, and I just didn't. I was, so we took the trip to California, and we love California,
Yeah.
obviously. And we just were there for like 11 days, and it was, my whole family came, and it was really awesome. And so even not even having that full experience, but being able to pay for our full vacation just because of the work that I was doing, on top of commissions, bonuses, and things like that. Okay, so when did you quit? You're not still working at the mattress store, I'm assuming.
No.
Are you working somewhere else now? Or are you just
No.
doing
This is my full-time job, my full-time income. I didn't, gosh, when was it? November I started 2017. I think it was in January where I quit my mattress sales job.
Okay. And you went to boot camp, which would have been what, 3 months after you earned the incentive?
Yes.
January would have been the last month.
Yeah.
And did you go with the intent of like, okay, I'm going to learn how to lead my team because I want to earn trips? Did you go because you were like, Carol just told me I needed to go with her? Or how did that happen?
I went not knowing what to expect, but Carol, this is what we did. When you hit director, you go to boot camp. That's why I went. I had no idea what to expect. I still at this point didn't have the concept to where I'm going to build a team. I'm going to lead. I didn't. I just thought, this is what you do. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I didn't know what to expect, but it was great.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and that was my first trip to home office, and I had been a consultant for 5 years, and I had the baby, so that was a whole thing. But yeah, it was a really cool experience to kind of get to see Scentsy in its whole, and its leaders and all of that. So how do you feel? Like, you talked a little bit about the incentive. And I know that for half of your experience with Scentsy, we haven't really had events. But having gone to some of those events, how do you feel like that has impacted your business?
I think it changed my outlook completely. And I do recommend anybody that has the ability to go to attend everything and anything, because I think the first actual eye opener, other than for the trip and stuff like that, towards into the business, was that world tour for me. Again, Carol's like, oh, I gotta come to world tour. And I'm like, okay, I'll go to world tour. I don't even know what that is, right? But I sat and I listened to the speakers and I heard the heart of Scentsy. Like, that's the first time it clicked for me, because I didn't know the business. I didn't understand the culture, nothing like that. I'm just like, why are these people yelling Scentsy Spirit down the hallway? Like, oh my God, what are they doing? Why are they doing that? Yeah. It's because it's more of a family than coworkers. You know what I mean? So I appreciated that, because I'm really big on family. Like, to me, it's like family over everything. And for it to feel like family with these people, it was like, okay, I dig this. So I was listening at World Tour. They announced like the new catalog. We sat on the floor, we put things together, it was laughing, it was fun. And that's something I think I was missing at that point that I didn't even know I was missing. So I wouldn't have recognized that if I didn't go. So World Tour, I would say, was a huge business changer for me. SFR, to be able to see the extent of how far Scentsy reaches out worldwide was huge for me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's people from all over the world here. Again, when I attended SFR, I didn't know what the heck it was. I was just going. And then to see, you know, Australia and wherever ever else that these people were coming from, and to see just how welcoming and inclusive everybody was, that's something I'm big on too. I'm very big on inclusiveness. Inclusiveness, is that a word?
Sure.
We'll go with it. And it felt good, because I'm big on empowering and encouraging and inspiring other women, and it felt good. It felt home. So I think, yes, we have not had that for the past couple of years, and I think it has taken a toll, but I try in my group to bring that Scentsy spirit in, especially since we had a hyper growth recently, and a lot of these people haven't experienced what we got to experience. And I'm grateful that I was able to come in before that, because it really does keep you. The community keeps you.
Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it cut out for like half of a second. Okay. So let me move on to a couple of other questions. How do you feel like you've built the confidence in your business since going from that place of, I don't want to do this, I just want the product? Because let's just be real, every time we see a bar, we're like, and want to smell it. Well, maybe not that one, because I don't like that one, but but this one, definitely this one. So where do you think that confidence came in, and how did you build that within yourself and within your team?
Being a student has always been one of my strengths. Like, I'm a student always and forever. I do believe one of my giftings is teaching. So those kind of work hand in hand for me. So when I decided that I was going to make this into something that's going to be income for me, income producing, I decided I need to know what I'm talking about. So I dug into the the product guide. I dug into the consultant guide. I dug into YouTube trainings. I started seeing on pages people talking about, because Wendy Heath Newgas was my superstar director. She still is my superstar director. She would have guest speakers come in, and I would watch, and I'd be a student, no matter how busy I was, because my daughter plays softball. Both of them played softball. One of them's already graduated now, but they played softball. During their practice, I would sit in the car and listen to, I could still see her practicing, but I would listen to the YouTube trainings or the group trainings where she would bring people in. And then it started getting me, oh, I want to follow her, follow Chloe Cox, follow Jennifer Anderson, Katie Lassiter, all of these people that were being exposed to me. I took advantage of it, and I started following them, and I started watching. And if you want to be successful, you have to do what successful people do. So I said, I want to do that. So then I started digging into, okay, parties, digging into recruiting, digging into systems, and just being a student and learning. Like, I'm going to actually do a training tonight with Katie Lassiter's group tonight on that. I'm super excited.
I just interviewed her this morning.
I love her.
That's so funny, because I didn't know that you guys were working together today, and I'm interviewing both of you today.
Today.
So
how
funny.
Weird. Yeah, she's one of my favorite people. But I'm going to talk about that tonight, like equipping yourself and creating your own toolbox. Like, we are in a world where everything is at our fingertips. There's no excuses for not learning how to do things. Like, I was not tech savvy, and I don't consider myself tech savvy to this day, but I do consider myself a student and a learner, and anything that you put your focus on will grow. So that's what I've been digging into. Anything I want to learn, I will go on YouTube, because it's right there, or I will go onto my group page, or I will go onto OC Sense with Wendy. I will go wherever I can to pull information, and then I learn that, and then I teach my team that. So that's how we're able to continue to.
And Wendy is a phenomenal teacher.
Yes.
And I think that's one thing about Wendy that is, I mean, obviously her incredible energy that I don't know where she
and she doesn't drink caffeine. It's all
I know. I think it's the exercise every day. But I think that she is, just from being in her group on Facebook and watching her since meeting her and getting to know her, she's an excellent teacher. So to be an excellent student and to have an excellent teacher as a leader, I mean, that's got to just marry itself very well, you know. And what you said is basically what Katie said this morning, like take a few months to sit in one thing and just watch all the YouTube videos out there about that thing that you want to learn. And so that mirrors with exactly kind of what she said. So I would like for you to invite me to that training tonight so that I can watch it. Okay, so kind of on a more basic, if we want to call it that, less of a story, but more of an action. So I had asked in the beginning of my YouTube channel, when I was trying to decide how I wanted to go about it and what I wanted to ask, I asked some people, what questions would you ask a superstar director? Like if you had the chance, what would be some things that you would ask? And so I'm going to ask you some of those questions that they kind of gave to me. So one of those things being, what does, and I know that everyone is different and everyone has different systems, but what does a day look like for you? So what would be like your daily schedule?
I like that question. Because some people think that it's just, oh, everything's just kind of falls in place. No, it doesn't. It's intentionality, no matter what titles, and titles don't mean nothing. It's work. It's all work. So in the morning I wake up, I go get my coffee. That's the very first thing I do. Put my hair up in a bun, go get my coffee, and then I will sit at my desk. I will read a little bit, study a little bit in the Word, and then have my coffee, finish that, and then I jump into my business. I do have a 13-year-old that gets herself ready for school. My husband makes her breakfast, or we'll rotate, but for the most part, he makes her breakfast. And then he takes her to school, so it works, you know, hand in hand. I dig into my business. I log my numbers. I go from logging my numbers. That's what shows me what I'm going to do that day, like what my focus is going to be. If my team isn't moving, I focus on my team. If group isn't moving, I focus on my group. From there, I connect with my teamies, my frontline. I then make my daughter lunch, my 18-year-old, when she's home that day, because she alternates, I make her lunch. I have the freedom and the accessibility to do that for her. And then I come back and I sit at my desk. I will put trainings together. I will watch YouTubes. I will interact with my team. And I try to finish my day working by the time my daughter gets home from school, which is 2:30, 3 o'clock. I pick her up. And that's usually the end of my day working, because that's one of the freedoms that I have with Scentsy.
And how often are you doing like any kind of trainings or meetings or whatever in the evenings?
For my team, I do every Monday, and that works. I don't take from my family at that time, which I'm really big on, because my daughter's at softball practice on Monday nights. I'm with my husband, and my other daughter, my 18-year-old, she works. So I'm home by myself. So I try to make it work where I'm not taking from my family in the evenings. So Monday nights, every week, I do an entire group training on basic tools. And that's huge. That's, again, something I'm going to be discussing tonight. And then other than that, I'll do one director training a month, and I'll do one leader training a month. And then I'll either have the directors come on and share random nights. But for me, I would say 4 times a week. Well, I mean, 1 time a week. So that's 4 a month. And then twice. Wait, 6. That's 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, you know, my son goes to bed at 8:30. So even though my husband's up, sometimes he likes for me to come in my office so he can watch his murder mysteries.
Don't you
I refuse to watch them. So, and most of the time I walk out there and he's like this, you know, asleep. So I can't believe I just did that on a video. So that's, you know, so that's pretty easy, but you know, we're in our team is in a transition period where we've been doing the same thing every month and it's not working anymore. So we're switching it up. So that question was more for me than for anybody else. But what do you do with your customers? Like, do you send them thank you mail? Are you is it just core follow-up, or is there something particular that you do in your systems that you find to be really beneficial?
My customer happy mail, when my customers purchase, they immediately get a text from me. And if they're a random person that's never purchased from me before, I will go into the order screen and I will save their phone number into my phone and I will add them as a customer. So and so, Morgan Lopez, customer. And then I will text them immediately. Hey, this is Rhianna, your Scentsy girl. Thank you so much for your purchase. So they get a text immediately. And then the next day, I'm very OCD. Like I have to have things done. I can't have things pile up on me or else like I feel like anxious and like, I'm a spaz. So the very next day I get their happy mail out. Like I have a whole system for customer tracking that I use. And it's helpful because it keeps me on top of it. Like this is it. Okay, so I believe Kelly Rigo, I believe is her name, uploaded her planner system, and that's what I use. But it literally keeps it to, what kind of party was it? Did you send them happy mail? Have you followed up with them? And in that happy mail, it ranges. I never ever favor a dollar amount. If you purchase 200 from me, you're getting this. If you purchase one bar, you're getting this from me, because every customer is different and every customer has their seasons. Some customers will spend more this month versus next month, and so on and so on. So I never show favoritism for purchase amounts. So they get like samples. Sometimes it's always and forever. I put a circle and then I'll stamp my Instagram on it. Always have your contact information on everything. Because what if they gift it to somebody? Oh, here, you know what? I have this. I got this from my Scentsy girl. Now they have my contact information. And then I have inserts that I put with brag tags on them, with my Instagram, with my Facebook VIP, with a QR code to join. But it's consistent. Like I have to be on it, and that doesn't work for everybody. It works for me because like I'm like you said, not everything works schedule wise for everybody. Everybody's different, but I'm home in the mornings for the most part, so I'm able to be on top of it daily. So these customers are getting a text the next day, they're getting their happy mail sent out. Then I follow up with them to see when their order is shipped and then make sure they get it, because I have had customers their order had fall through and I had never known because I didn't follow up, and they're like, oh, I've been waiting, it's like 18 days later, and I'm like, that's not good customer service.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I've had that. And sometimes even just like I followed up with someone and they said like, oh, my warmer's not working right, so I threw it away. And I'm like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Yeah. So that's part of that customer service. And I try to make it very clear to my customers, like, please let me know, and light bulbs, people will go to Walmart, try to buy a light bulb. And I'm like, just, if you call me, I will give you a light bulb. Like, just tell me. So yeah. Let's see. Okay. A couple more questions. And these are going to be a little bit more, a little deeper, but there's a two-part question and then there's some follow-up questions. So the one two-part question is basically what do you feel like was your biggest win or your biggest moment, and then what do you think was the most challenging thing for you?
The biggest moment, there's some really big moments that Scentsy has blessed me with, but I would say the first time that I earned annual mentor, that to me, again, because of what I thrive on, mentorship, inspiring, encouraging. When I earned annual mentor, which is 14 teamies that you have sponsored that year that have promoted to certified, it was a huge goal for me, even though it's not the top bonus award because that's annual sales. Annual mentor meant like I actually helped other people create their journey and get off to a successful start. And that meant a lot to me. And that's the award that I brag about the most, like annual mentor. And I don't mean brag like that, but I mean brag like, hey, you could come in here in this business and I will mentor you until you're into your goals. Like as bad as you want it, is I'll match your energy right there. Let's go get it. So that's the one that I'm very, very proud of, and the biggest win for me. And I've earned it every year since then. So that's like that's a must for me. That has to be checked off. Everything else can fall to the wayside, but I need to get mentor. And I would think one of my most challenging things is accepting the fact that not everybody wants this as a business, and understanding that, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book Atomic Habits, but I read into that, and they talk about like 1%ers and stuff like that. And I didn't understand. I did understand like not everybody's the same. Yes, but I didn't understand how you could join and then say you want it, you want it, you want it, you want it, but then do nothing. Like I had to come to grab the grips, whatever, to I had to come and understand that, Rhianna, like not everybody's going to match your energy and what you do, and not everybody's going to sacrifice time at the end of their night. Some will just stay complacent where they're at, and I had to be okay with that. And that was hard for me because I am an Enneagram 8. So I'm very like in your face. But the funny thing is that I'm a natural introvert, but you wouldn't be able to tell by how I talk about Scentsy because it's my passion. But yeah, I would say that is to this day the hardest, where I had to learn empathy towards things in leadership, I guess you can say, because not everybody's going to work the same way, and I have to learn how to lead those people in different aspects.
Yeah. When you do talk about challenges or hard times, how did you keep going and not give up?
Good Lord, you're gonna make me cry, girlfriend.
Oh,
I'm to be honest, I'm not even out. I'm in the hardest season of my life right now, to be honest. And but I thank God for Scentsy, because I think this has been my outlet. This has been my therapeutic session. I have my own office. I didn't always have my own office, and you don't need your own office to be able to have this as a space for you. But when I walk in here, everything else kind of stays at the door, if that makes sense. And I'm able to I'm reminded, like, you are this person, you are loved, you are strong, you are, and I have a group of 819, and knowing that my group sees me, like, wow, she's our mentor. She's, like one of our mentors. And that makes you feel good in spite of maybe the loss, or in spite of the drama that's experiencing outside of these four walls. But I think rather than putting down your kit, there has to be somebody that you could connect with in your business and mine has been Wendy, and mine has been Tracy, and mine has been Chloe Cox, and mine has been, like, the friendships that I've made in this business, I believe are heaven sent, because I don't know what I would have done in this season without these people. Because, I do have friends outside of Scentsy, best friends outside of Scentsy, but it's different. They have their lives and I have my life. But to be able to go through hardships and challenges with people that maybe understand some of its leadership, struggles, some of its personal family, but to be able to lock arms in its entirety, for people to understand everything, I think that's been the biggest help through the challenges. And don't put down your kit. Find somebody to lock arms with that'll get you through this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I did that from the very beginning, where I just connected with several people, and it probably took me a good year or so before I really found those people, because I didn't really have intentions either of making anything more out of it than just making $800. So it took a little bit, but man, like, those people are ride or die, like, they're I have friends too, but I talk to them every day, and most of the time it's not even about, Scentsy, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's partnering with them to be in the same place or to move forward or figure out what we're doing. So I love that. So if you could give one piece of advice for someone who's either struggling or just as a consultant who wants to be where you are, what would you say to them?
Don't give up, first and foremost. Go back to your why. Your why may have changed from the moment you joined. Mine did. Really dig deep and start doing the things that make you happy, and stop doing the things that don't bring you joy. Like if you're struggling in leadership right now and you feel like your team is not grateful or your team is not showing up, you keep showing up, but do the things that make you happy. Like if training makes you happy, do training. If making samples make you happy, do samples. Like, this is your business. You can do what you want with it. There's no structure and you have to do A, B, C, D, E. No, you do have to show up still. You have to, like, no matter what life brings you. And I don't say it to discount anybody's hardships, because like I said, I'm in the hardest season of my life right now. But you can use those seasons to drive you, or you can use them to as excuses, as roadblocks. Use them to catapult you into a season of hope. Don't give up. Just keep doing the things that make you happy. That's the biggest thing that I can say. And that's what I'm doing at this moment. Like, I stopped doing the things that are extra that I don't have to do, that maybe I feel certain things are not appreciated. I'll stop doing it, and it brings me joy, and it gets me back into a place to refocus and to restructure. And sometimes going back to the basics, not sometimes, all the time, going back to the basics in struggle seasons and seasons where you're not sure and you can't see clear, go back to the basics. 3 legs of success: recruiting, sponsoring, and PRV, sales. Go back to those and do the simple things, and stop trying to do everything, and simplify your life. That's one of our values, is simplicity. Go back to that. It's there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being open and honest and sharing your experiences and your story. It's been amazing to hear it, because I didn't know all of those things, and that's something that I really enjoy about this channel, is getting to learn everybody's history, everybody's story, what they've been through. And I hear oftentimes, I spent the last $100 in my bank account. I hear that a lot. And I hear that from people who are now able to work at home, stay at home with their kids, travel whenever they want to. Their husbands are able to leave their jobs and help them with their businesses. And I think it's absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. We're in a season right now in the world where if you want to do something, then you go do it. You follow your heart and your passion, and there's so many options for people. So I just appreciate you so much, and I'm so excited that you were here, and I cannot wait to share this interview with the world of YouTube. And I'm just so thankful and so grateful. So thank you so much. Don't hang up. I'm just going to stop the recording. Bye.